Welcome to Buzztalk Business Show. Each episode, we bring you news and interviews with local businesses, discuss business tips and advice on how to get started or the best out of your business. Welcome to Buzztalk Business Show.
Hello everyone, we are back at the Login Lounge in Camberley. Today our guest is Keith Blackshire, who is a business coach.
Thank you, yeah, nice to be here.
And of course we have Alex.
Hello.
So Keith, can you tell us, what's the name of your company please?
So my company is called Chrysalis Business Partners. I've been running it probably just coming up to sort of a year and a half now. My background has always been in sales and marketing for large corporate businesses, worked for IBM and people like that. And I think towards the end of my my term in the corporate life, I was finding that doing big pursuits, but I was spending 95% of my time selling why we're doing the deal internally rather than spending time with the client and actually understand their pain points and delivering solutions for them. So I thought if I could bring my skill set on a fractional basis to smaller businesses, especially after COVID, with obviously people struggling.
Yeah, because a lot's had to change. People have had to change their business plans and all sorts to work around, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of working from home now. You still have those trust issues with smaller businesses. Are my people working when they're at home? That sort of thing. So I really spend a lot of time going in and trying to help them work out. I mean, the first thing I really do is try and define, have you really figured out who your target market is? Do you know the sort of people that will actually respond when you market to them? Because you can't market to everyone. Everyone tries to. They go, oh yeah, everyone will buy my service. They won't.
No.
Let's get the right people. And once we've done that, how do we differentiate your product and service? I mean, the perfect sort of example I give to people is if you look in the yellow pages, plumbers, A1 Plumbing probably gets most of the business because there's nothing to talk between them. So how are you going to differentiate your service? And then once I've done that, I look at things like what sort of copy you're writing. Are your headlines compelling? Do you have call to actions? What guarantees do you give? You know, it's a bit like Amazon. No one buys Amazon reviews without, Amazon product without.
I'm a brilliant one for always reading reviews, and I write a lot of reviews myself for both places I've visited, as and Amazon.
I think it's important. I think I do this. If when I worked, actually, my brother's got a place in Portugal, and I worked out there for 2 or 3 weeks in the summer. And there was a company called Portugal Internet that actually provides you a Wi-Fi dongle for the period. And the service was so good. Literally, I ordered it. It turned up when it said it was going to do. I had no dropouts. It was good, well priced. All I had to do, they sent me an envelope to put it back. So I actually wrote a review and said, that was absolutely excellent service. You delivered exactly what you said you were going to do. And they were really appreciative. I don't see why more people don't do that. I mean, you see all the 1-star reviews where people just want to be awkward, right?
Yeah, because a lot of people say they're always happy to put a negative review, but getting those good ones in, exactly. So someone, say, ring up today, Keith, my business is really struggling, but I don't want to give up, need your help. What would be your...
Well, the first thing I do is I actually do something called what I call Q52, which is 52 questions. It sounds daunting, but it literally to find out what they're doing at the moment. So, what areas are you struggling in? Because I'm sure they're doing some great things. It doesn't mean everything, and I always tell people this is not rocket science, right? A lot of the stuff I'll tell you, you will already know, you're just not doing it. So you need some accountability there. Or you might have not heard of it, because you don't know what you don't know, or it's something you might have done years ago, but you just haven't done recently, and you're like, oh no, I should do that. I should carry on. So I just try and make them do things that is actually going to take their business forward. So I talked about the marketing piece. I'll go in and say, right, okay, so what are you doing what are you doing about lead generation? Well, it's normally word of mouth, and occasionally I'll do a bit of networking, but that's, you can't. There's no longevity to that. You get a referral when you get a referral, right?
Yeah, you need something consistent.
But there are referral strategies, so you can actually offer that as part of a deal. So when you do business with a new client, say, look, would you give me a testimonial? And if so, I'll give you a discount on the business. Or would you give me a referral and Amazon vouchers or whatever it tends to be?
That's the best, isn't it? Word of mouth.
Word of mouth is the best business you can get because people don't tend to worry about price so much. They know the quality of you because they've been recommended by someone they like.
Yes.
But it's just getting those regularly.
That's something we were saying before, my husband's business. We do get a lot of word of mouth and recommendations, and it helps because they know we're not the cheapest. We're not the, oh my God, we're somewhere in between. But at the same time, they'll be like, well, I don't want the cheapest. I want quality. I want the job done right.
Sometimes you can price yourself out of the market by being too cheap because people go, no, I don't believe you. And it's a bit like when you do one of those too good to be true offers. You have to put a reasons why with it.
Yeah.
Sorry. You have to put reasons why because otherwise people just don't believe you. That's too good to be true. I'm not going to buy from them. They're lying.
I got that a lot when I used to do IT. So I was doing a hosting environment and I kept my prices really low to get the work in. People saying that's too cheap. I said, well, it's what I do. You know, it is too good to be true because it is true.
Yeah.
Is that website Fiverr?
Yeah, no.
Website Fiverr.
No, I used to run my own hosting environment. So I started out with a very small PC that was in like an office in London. That's kind of, so they had a data center. When I got there, it wasn't an office in the storeroom basically. And then I got Disney on board as a customer. So I had to move everything into a proper data center. So I had to upgrade my servers to proper Dell rack servers. Grew from there to I had a full rack of servers. And then years later, I ended up moving from, it was originally in London, then it got moved to Stevenage because of the price differences and the bandwidth what kind of changed and stuff. And then I got an IT contract that led me to Airport House in Croydon. Right. We built a data center inside the Airport House because for their own infrastructure as well. And then I moved my data center environment from Stevenage down into Croydon. We expanded the racks out, so I ended up having 2 racks. £1,000 worth of equipment into it, and I was doing virtual desktops, remote desktops, so people could work from different locations, dialing in and stuff.
VDI,
yeah. So we did mostly over Microsoft terminal services, and then it came normal remote desktop. Then when you come do VMs and
Straight
stuff.
over my head.
It's
over my head.
taking me back now.
Literally, like what?
Yeah. So I always get
about the 80s again.
so I always get my prices low.
Well, it's all cyclical though, isn't it? Because it's now cloud. It's the very same thing, really.
Yeah.
It's just on someone else's data center.
So generally, what's the type of people that come to you?
I tend to get business owners, probably, I suppose my sweet spot tends to be, I mean, again, as I was saying, we were talking, so I understood what he was saying from a technology background, but I tend to, I mean, some of my clients at the moment, I've got technology clients, but they all tend to be owner-operated businesses. Sweet spot tends to be sort of, for this sort of services I offer, probably up to about 50 users and probably about sort of 5-10 million turnover. I do also do work with bigger businesses and where I've come from, so I can look at things like, doing some kind of reviews of their RFPs before they go out, help them writing exec summaries, that kind of thing. But the main focus really is owner-operated businesses. That's what I wanted to do, because I really wanted to bring my skills to help people, really. I mean, it sounds very great, Keith, but that's what I was trying to do, because they don't have access to these skill sets. And if I can do it on a fractional basis and help loads of clients, so it normally tends to be the owner. They might have 1 or 2 salespeople, and I'll end up working and mentoring the salespeople, but it's a real programmatic approach. I literally have, I'll start off when I'll do that Q52 as I mentioned, then I'll do a target market workshop, then I'll do a differentiator workshop, and then it'll be weekly calls. So I'll do what we're going to do for this month is X, and I'll track it all. Weekly follow-ups, right, have you got on, guys? If I'm coaching, if I'm consulting, I'm doing some of that.
Do you sometimes go in and do some of this for them, or do you give them a plan and work with them? They've got to do it some stuff themselves once the plan's made?
Either way, depending. So it's a plan, whatever we do. Either they do some of it, which is more of a coaching basis, and I'll say, okay, that's great what you've done there. Have you thought about doing this? And kind of guide them. Or
so they've got the long term of being able to manage themselves.
I actually prefer that, because then I've done a much more knowledge transfer, and then at the end of it, they can do it. I do consulting for one client at the moment where I'm doing most of that work. He's still got to implement it in his business, obviously, because I can't implement it. But again, when he walks away at the end of it, he won't have learned as much as if I'd coached him.
Yeah.
So are you tailored more to existing businesses, or do you sometimes help?
I do help startups too, because sometimes they just want to know where to start. I mean, a lot of things I tend to work with startups at the moment is they say, Keith, I need to find some funding. Where do I go? And I'm not an investor myself.
But funny that.
But I do have some. I do know some investors, because I've come across quite a few. So I've put people in touch with investors. But then when they do get some money or they get some grants or that sort of thing, I say, right, Keith, where do I start? What do I do? How do I get my name out there? And again, it just goes back to who do you think is going to buy your product? Oh, everyone will love this. Okay, right.
Yeah,
let's narrow that down a bit.
Let's start again, right? Who do you think? And it's sort of even demographics and psychographics, right? What sort of people? Because I tell people, you can't, someone marketing to me versus my 18-year-old daughter is going to be a very different messaging.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about who your audience is. But yeah.
Yeah, because that kind of age, isn't it? What you're talking. If you've got a young company that's got youngsters working in it, it's going to be a slightly different approach.
Absolutely.
Someone's kind of older staff kind of thing, because they'll think differently.
But it's also different approaches, because you've touched on something really important there. A lot of people say it's all about social media these days, and it is, right? Yeah. Because I do a lot of work on LinkedIn, I've got some Facebook ads running, that kind of thing. But you've still got things like well-written sales letters printed, put in a slightly strange-looking envelope, handwritten and sent to someone, is going to work really, really well. And people forget about doing that sort of thing.
With like you say, you mentioned the handwritten letters, Keith. Yeah, that could be seen as a real good selling point, because it's almost personal.
It's different
directed
because
to
not
someone.
everyone's doing it, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit like cold calling. I mean, people go, "Oh no." I mean, I started in sales literally with the yellow pages, and some of the listeners may not remember what that is, but literally, if I'm just going, just literally picking up.
It's like my full-time position is in sales, and when I speak to my clients on the phone, when they've inquired, it's a case of, why are you cold calling me? Well, actually, you looked on my website. We don't cold call.
Yeah,
it's you've given me your details.
Exactly. So I'm following up.
Yeah, you've initiated this conversation.
That's a good question. Is cold calling still allowed? I know they changed certain things, didn't they?
Yeah, to a degree it is.
Yeah, I mean, GDPR, it is a bit of a grey area. Emailing, you have to be a bit careful with, but then if you just do emails out and you have an unsubscribe at the bottom, you should be okay, because because people can say, I don't want this anymore. Fine. I don't know, actually, cold calling. I mean, I work with some companies, outsourced companies, that actually still do cold calling, so there's still a business for it. So there must be rules and regulations related to it.
It's a very grey area, like you say. You've got to give the people that you're calling, you've got to give them that option to opt out.
Yeah.
If you don't give them that option, then you're badgering and you are potentially bordering it becoming illegal, because you're not giving anybody that opportunity to say no thanks.
But I suppose it's also different between sort of business data and personal data, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're calling a business, it's less so, but if you're bothering someone at home trying to sell them double glazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about emails as well, sending out emails and stuff. If you send more than 2 emails to 2 different people, that's still classed as spam. So that's what gets in people's spam filters. So if you go, like for instance, me, when I email out to people that are already requested in stuff, I'll do it separately, so knowing it get to them instead of spam inbox. I don't use like those mail monkeys where you just do it to
MailChimp and that's
you're going to land in a spam box somewhere, definitely guaranteed on that kind of site. So retention's a bit lower anyway. But on social media, because everyone's kind of says different things, do this, do that, do that. Do you find that if you did everything everyone was saying, you wouldn't have no time to actually do your own work?
Well, I think I was saying this to you earlier, just before we started the conversation, is there's a lot of LinkedIn gurus out there that tell you what you've got to do is you've got to nurture people, you've got to follow all their posts and put some thoughtful content on it, which is great, and that is probably the right way to do it. But that's if you had the whole day to spend on LinkedIn, did nothing else. You'd never run your business.
No.
So.
Another thing is if you spend all that time, like saying, doing a nice little comment on their post, will they do that back to you? That's another question.
Well, this is it. Yeah, exactly that. But again, you mentioned about email. Email automation can be a good thing if you have a subscriber list or you build a subscriber list and you're regularly sending out. I send out
like a newsletter.
Yeah, I send out weekly emails to people with business tips. So I add them on there. Yeah. And again, there is the option to unsubscribe. What I tend to do is people that have connected me on LinkedIn, I say, okay to add you and add them on the thing, and I get out, and then they can still unsubscribe. If they go, look, I've been serious, but it's fine. It takes a while. So for anyone out there, sort of business tips, if you're going to do email automation, do not expect hundreds of leads to come from it initially. That's a slow burn nurture where you want to
and I think because spam is on the rise, and there are still a lot of companies out there that do cold call, not only in this country but globally.
Oh gosh, yes.
People are very dubious when they get an email through, and you see, you look at
click a link or anything like that.
And you look at the CC'd info, and you see 3 names plus 98 others.
Yeah,
and you immediately think, well, I'm going to just delete that.
No, I wouldn't.
Because that's nothing to do with it.
But they get really clever, very old spammers. I mean, it even looks like it's come from, you have to be very careful and look at it sometimes.
You do.
Just hover over the name just to make sure.
Yeah,
I was saying, actually, before this, that a lot of people are getting very clever, like with the painting and decorating side my husband does. I get a lot of spam because we're on Checkertrade, we're on all the other platforms. And as you were saying, because Google and Hotmail, the email addresses are sold off or something.
Yeah, they're all sold off.
Can sell for spam in a sense.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot more clever. Like I've had a couple recently where it will make it look like there's been previous correspondence with a potential customer, and then it will say, this customer's looking for decoration work. Please check out the plans attached. I know it's spam. I can tell. There's because I get a lot of them.
Yeah,
spam is
different email address, but it's generally like.
I mean, people are copying and ripping off even Amazon.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at hotmail.com. I'm like, this is spam.
I had Amazon one the other day. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of really bad sort of spam going on. I saw a documentary the other day about something that's going on from sort of almost Jamaica. They're literally calling people up in the States, just getting them part of money. You've won the lottery. You need to give me £1,500 to
For me to
allow me to
release
give you
your
the money.
funds. Yeah.
And people are doing it. They're
Yeah.
making like 300 million a year.
See, that's the thing. That's why they still continue, because it'll be like, does this actually work? And there is enough people
does.
that are still falling for it, and it's working.
Well, you get people, that call up and then you say, "Oh, I'm calling from Microsoft. I can see that you've had an issue with your PC. I just need you to go to this
Click on
website,
anywhere,
enter
whatever,
this code." It gives them full access to your entire PC, and they could be halfway around the globe.
That still goes on. They
Then go
Yeah.
on your PayPal or
But they
your bank
target the
account,
older
and you've
people.
gone.
Well, actually,
They do target
but they do
people.
target the older people because they're, okay, cool.
Because they're not tech
Yeah.
savvy. Because we
More
live
tech
in a
and
very
trusting.
yeah.
They're more trusting.
I used to have one call my mum, and I used to answer it, and they say about broadband, don't have a rubber band here.
My
Come off
nan,
really quickly.
after my grandfather passed away, my nan would give the best responses. She was getting phone calls left, right, and centre asking to speak to Mr. Burton, and she said, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but he's just boarded a flight to Barcelona," or she's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, she's unavailable at the moment. I'm just a housemaid." She would, and there's some others that are
Yeah.
not PG, what I won't say, but
My husband plays along sometimes.
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
think they're
seriously,
brilliant.
honestly, he'll pretend to. I think some of
It'd
us
be
have
funny
witnessed him playing along to the conversation. It's like, oh, did you really find out? How did you know I had an accident? It just happened now. Yeah, my car's totaled. How did you know? Oh, yes, please. He'll play along to keep him on there longer.
Yeah. I get them, and then like, "Oh, we hear you've just been in a recent car accident." I said, "Well, that's fine. I don't have a driver's license." They're like, "Oh, but you were a passenger." I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Keep going, you'll find a way eventually.
Yeah.
So,
I
Jen,
think it's
did you have any
brilliant.
like tips around like how to navigate LinkedIn properly? Is there such a
I'm
way?
still
or
really struggling with LinkedIn. I don't quite get
A few
it.
things on LinkedIn. Make sure that you're about me. You've got a massive piece of real estate there about me, and make sure everyone does this. I do this, I do this, I do this. No, make that a benefit. What does that do to the person looking that's landing on your page? So that bit's really key. Make sure you at the top. There's certain keywords you can use at the top to make sure it's got a proper title of what you actually do. Create yourself a banner. Canva's like £5-10 a month. I use Canva quite a bit.
I do.
Make
My
yourself a
go-to.
decent
Used to be
LinkedIn
free.
link. Used to be. I mean, I think
I
it
used to
still
use it
to
all
a
the
certain
time.
amount free, but you don't get all the premium
No,
things.
I know. I
But you
used
can
to
make
use
a
it a
really
lot.
good Canva banner just to say what you do. I think it's really about, it's a bit like your website. Make that really what you want people to see when they land on it. And again, I suppose other things, I do quite a bit of outreach on LinkedIn, and I just, I send emails to people. But what I try not to do is spam them. I say, look, I'll cut to the chase. I know you're busy. This is what I do. Is any of this of interest? Simple as that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'd rather prefer. I get all these waffly emails and they, 10 different emails.
Short, sharp,
I've
straight
I've just started blogging on our website, and I try and keep it as short as possible. And I feel that's people don't want to read loads and loads. They just,
No, but long form blogs work really well as well, because that's great for SEO sometimes if you do a long form blog as well.
okay.
So that's worth mixing them up.
I've been doing them, but
No.
they're just they're a bit short.
It's time consuming, but if you do it once per week, gives them an update of what you've done that week. And it's kind of like nice to read kind of thing. And obviously when you post it, you're going to have that very short headline. You kind of want to get people like,
Well,
"Ooh,"
with the use of technology, you might not even have to write it
gonna
I
say-
know.
yourself.
I'm thinking after Jack showed us an AI thing,
yes.
I'm like, I think
Oh
I might
my
have to do it, because I was struggling to think what to write on yesterday's
When I hold my
blog.
hands up, I do occasionally use ChatGPT to give me a start.
Yeah.
And then I will.
We
Yeah,
were talking about.
yeah, I think I might just need that, because I was
We
struggling.
were talking about Grammarly.
Yeah, I was
and
last
what it wrote was
last night I was
amazing.
publishing a podcast, and I thought I've got to get it out there because you've been hounding me for it. But I get it out there. I thought I can't be able to. Cause I normally voice it into my phone, put it in Grammarly, respell it, and check it, put it out there. I thought Grammarly's now got the Grammarly Go, which is their AI version.
Yeah.
So I put in there saying, put the name of the person, saying that I need a punchy headliner for this lady, and put the name in it, and she's fitness. And as soon as I hit that return button, a headline comes straight back. I went, wow. So that's it, headline. I got the headline. Then I write, as soon as I write, I need a storyline, a nice story, a couple of paragraphs. She's fitness, she does fitness model, blah, 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 bodybuilding. A couple of keywords I could put in there, hit return. Within seconds, I had 3 paragraphs, and it was amazing. So I dropped the bottom paragraph because I thought it was too long-winded, kept the 2 paragraphs, published that, and I got these guys to read it this morning and say, what do you think? He said, that's really good. So I didn't write that, say aye.
AI.
I was like, I need that for the blog.
Is this
because I
like
was struggling
dangerous?
to think of stuff the other
But
day.
it reads as if AI has heard the podcast and then made its conclusion, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Scary.
No connection there.
But that's what I find quite funny, because I was speaking to one of my tech clients the other day, and he's really, his software development and stuff. And he said, you can actually tell if it's been written by AI. Google can tell if it's been written by AI. But there's another product you can put it through to humanize it. So you could literally you could write a whole ebook with ChatGPT. I mean, it takes time. Obviously, you have to get prompts. Get that through this humanizer tool, turn it into a book, and sell it on Amazon, and you haven't really done any of it.
Wow.
I'm not suggesting everyone does
No,
that.
It's
But I
the
think it's a
the
good
modern
way,
age of
especially with the
ghostwriting.
blogs going forward. My husband wanted me to do a second one, but it was pretty similar to the first one because we're still trying to push on certain summer jobs. I'm like, I don't know what I can say that I haven't already said. So I was trying to think. I managed it in the end, but I still felt like wasn't my best. But I said at the same time that whole AI thing might help me on certain ones, and then I can just take it and add and tweak it. It just gives you that
I
boost.
was just thinking, as you said that, an easier way to do that without you feeling, oh, it's written all of it for me, is just say, give me some topics to write on, or give me some bullet points to write on, and then it will give you a list of what to write on, and you can actually fill in the blanks. So maybe that's the way to kind of craft it rather than getting away.
I'm going to have a play around with it. I've only since Jack showed me today. I'm like, all right, I've got to get on that.
I've got to do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So where's the best place for people to contact you?
Well, my website, Chris's-partner. Well, I can put this up.
Put all the details in
I'll
the
put it on
description anyway.
So on my website, give me a call, drop me an email.
You're on Facebook,
I'm
LinkedIn,
on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram. So anyway, any of the social media platforms really.
And then you'll handle anything from like a startup business all the way through to a business that's been going for years. Cool.
Yeah, and again, that's the main areas I look at really, as I said, is look at their existing marketing, improve what they're doing. I'm not saying I'm going to come in wholeheartedly and change it all. Some of what they're doing will be right, but it would just be looking at some tweaks and what makes it more effective. Look at what we can do for lead generation, whether that's online, whether it's letter drops, whether it's referral strategies, whatever. But also, as importantly, is conversion. It's no point having loads and loads of leads coming in that none of them turn into clients. So what can we do to make sure your conversion rate goes up? And once they are a client, how do we get them to stay with you and spend more money with you and stay with you longer?
Yeah.
And then we talked about automation. So what can we do to automate some of that so you're working on your business, as everyone talks about, rather than in it? So can we get email automation doing the sending it? Can we get AI to do some work for you? Maybe not so much for yourself, but but it's really looking at all those areas and then just really giving the business they wanted when they went into it. Right? It's not easy. We all know that.
And at the end of the day, it's nice to have somebody new in that doesn't know your business. So fresh eyes over, just because there might be something you missed, something you're kind of not doing, and that you can
Fresh perspective.
It's recommended a lot of times to have a fresh perspective, isn't it?
It not just that, and it's also the accountability. Most of
Yeah,
I won't do that again. Don't hear that. Most of my clients have said the one thing that really like is I know you're going to call me on Friday and go, why haven't you done that? So they really like that accountability.
Why haven't you done your homework?
Basically, yeah. Why haven't you done that thing to move your business forward?
I like that. Can I get it from Tammy? She chases me. Have you got it out yet? I like that.
I feel bad though because I'm like, Jack, I know you said it was going to be out 2 weeks ago, but it's been 4 weeks now. Can I have that?
I
vlog out,
badged you for
please?
my unboxing video of my costume, and I was like, "Come on, release it."
Yeah, no, I was saving it because we already had that the TikTok go out, didn't we?
Like it, it's like, I'm not-
So I don't like to release something too quickly. So we've done a TikTok. We wait for a bit, tease them, then release it, and then they get more excited for it.
Dangle the fruit, and then away you go.
That's it. Got to be patient.
Except for when you say on the top, go TikTok, go check out the unboxing. Where's the unboxing? It's not there. It's not there. No, it'll be up soon.
1 month later.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's great having you on our podcast today.
Yeah,
Pleasure
thank
to
you.
meet you, Keith.
We'll get you back on another podcast and we'll do a bit more chatting. I'm sure there's a lot more we can talk about and stuff.
Absolutely, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to
I'll
do
let you know how the AI's going.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And don't worry, guys, not all my podcasts are going to be written by AI, so don't worry, that's just a one-off.
Who knows?
It's great. You can take it and then you can just edit and change
That's the
it and
point.
put
Make
things in
it-
yourself.
make it
Make it your
yours.
own.
Yeah.
It's just a way of getting you. Okay, that helps. That sparked me off. Now here I go.
That's it. Next time we meet Keith, I'm going to be a published author of 7 books.
I think we should finish on that one.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alex from SMJ Media Group, and I just want to say a big thank you to all our supporters that have bought us a coffee. Thank you to all the support that you've given us thus far. We've now introduced new membership options on our Buy Us a Coffee website. Being a member allows you to support us monthly, and it allows you to also publish on our many social media pages. Check out buymeacoffee.com/SMJ Media Group. We blog regularly so you can check out what we're up to. That's buymeacoffee.com/SMJ Media Group.